Welcome, welcome. This is Professional Insights brought to you by the National Referral Network. This is where we talk to professionals about what they do, how they do it. They share their insights, their wisdom for the benefit of everyone. Dana is here. Is it Donna? Excuse me. I pronounced it wrong right out of the box. Oh my God. We were just talking about it. Pronounce it right. I get it wrong. Is it Udumulla?
Yes, that's perfect.
Wow. Well, okay, so I stuck the landing on the last name. I didn't get it on the first name. Okay, well, that's fine. So you are a specialist in self-directed IRAs, and today we're going to talk about what a self-directed IRA is, where they might be applicable, some of the things to watch out for, how they can be set up, all of that stuff. So let's jump right into this. So, Donna.
There you go. You got it.
I got it. Describe what is the difference between a self-directed IRA and just a regular old IRA you would open up at, say, Schwab or Fidelity or wherever?
Perfect. But first of all, let me thank you for inviting me today to chat with you on one of my favorite subjects, self-directed IRAs. I love that question, Mike, because a lot of people would assume a self-directed IRA is an IRA that you're able to self-direct, right? A lot of the big players out there, we're thinking Charles Schwab, Fidelity, they all have self-directed IRAs. But that's really not what a self-directed IRA means. A self-directed IRA is an IRA that goes beyond our traditional security. So with a self-directed IRA, you can diversify your portfolio and basically invest into anything other than stocks and bonds. So we're thinking here real estate, cryptocurrency, precious metals, private equity. Honestly, Mike, I've even seen things like boat slips, marinas, Arabian racehorses, you name it. People get very creative when it comes to alternative investments.
Now, the most famous version of a self-directed IRA, I believe, is Peter Thiel. Okay. Walk us through it. So for those who don't know, Peter Thiel is a very famous venture capitalist, was one of the original funders of Facebook back when it was Facebook. Walk us through what he did and how, I don't know, how incredibly cool it was what he did.
So my memory of that is a little vague right now, but basically with the self-directed IRA, you can invest into private company stock, okay, or private equity, and basically watch it grow tax-free or tax-deferred. That's basically the high-level overview of a self-directed IRA versus traditional stocks and bonds. You're getting into the stock market.
And he was able to, I believe, put his ownership stake in Facebook in a self-directed IRA. And then I believe he did a Roth conversion shortly after that when it wasn't worth very much. And then it grew to, I don't know, several galaxies away from where it is now, and it's all tax-free money, something like that.
It is. It's a very controversial topic, Mike, because that really put a spotlight on self-directed IRAs and everything you can do with it, which now a lot of people are trying to get into it, and regulations are getting tighter and tighter. Now, with that Peter Thiel instance, I have to say, as the investments manager of Madison Trust, I am a passive custodian. We don't provide any financial, tax, or legal advice. Sure. But in this case, what happened was an individual, and we're talking about Peter Thiel here, invested into his own private equity, his own company, through his self-directed IRA, and did a backdoor Roth conversion, which even if your income is at a certain limit, you're able to do a backdoor Roth conversion, which basically made the whole investment tax-free at a certain point.
Yeah, it was a brilliant piece. Right. It was a really brilliant piece of planning.
It really was. It was basically like he knew all the loopholes in the regulations to really put this plan into action. And that's where self-directed IRAs got that spotlight. That's where everyone started to think, wait a minute, can we really do this? But I do have to say, this is a bit of a gray area, though, that the IRA owner investing into something they own it's really not a black and white scenario. It's very gray. So we always tell individuals trying to get into this, talk to your financial professional before you want to implement something along these lines.
So in other words, if you're looking to get tax deferred growth on this on an asset that is maybe potentially explosive, a piece of real estate, maybe a collectible. I was watching a show on collectibles the other day, and they had I think what they had bought was one of Jackie Robinson's jerseys that he wore in his final season. It was autographed. And anyway, these things that are just the value of them just blows up. These are things that can be put in a self-directed IRA, and the growth of those, the growth of that asset is essentially tax deferred.
So this is one of those investments that is restricted by a self-directed IRA, Mike. There is a few things that are restricted by a self-directed IRA. Collectibles is one of those, which includes the jersey, antiques, fine wine, all that fun stuff. Insurance and S-Corp. So those three items are restricted. You cannot really invest into those using a self-directed IRA.
What about art?
Now, art is, again, one of those investments that has a gray area. Art directly, if it falls under collectibles, you're not able to do so. However, I've seen a lot of individuals investing into companies that invest into fine art.
Okay.
So in the grand scheme of things, you're technically investing into private equity.
So there has to be, I'm guessing there has to be an established marketplace for the asset in order for it to be permissible. Is that where the line's drawn?
The lines are blurred, quite literally. I feel like the lines are blurred when it comes to self-directed IRAs. So let's talk about this art, for instance. You cannot invest into collectibles, like say fine art directly. However, you can invest into a company that invests into art or deals with art, because technically you're not investing into art, you're investing into a private entity. Your investment is a private ownership of a company.
Okay. So let's talk for a second about ownership in companies. Can a business owner take I don't know, share? Let's say you've got a business owner that's a passive owner of a business and they own a percentage of it. Can that percentage ownership be in a self-directed IRA?
Now, great question. Can you transfer that personal passive ownership into a self-directed IRA? No, you cannot. Anything that you own personally cannot be transferred into a self-directed IRA because the owner themselves are considered disqualified individuals to the IRA. However, the other side is you can invest into that private company through your IRA and have a passive ownership through your IRA. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So in other words, there are doors you can go through, and your job is to chart the course.
Yes, my job is to make sure my clients are compliant when it comes to IRS regulations. For instance, if one of my clients are trying to do something, I will always tell them, hey, this is not something feasible on our end. You need to speak to a financial professional, because we never want to be in a situation where people's hard-earned retirement money, it's penalized, right? And that's what we want to prevent.
So you don't want the IRS to sort of disallow the action, but you are in the business, though, of engineering, if you will, a way where certain kinds of assets can find their way into IRAs, navigate the compliance landscape. What kind of assets are we talking beyond? You mentioned real estate. What other kinds of assets?
So real estate right now, and for the past few years, has been the most popular. And we're talking tangible property as well as syndication and multifamily real estate. But other than that, we've also seen private equity deals into pharmaceuticals, healthcare, blockchain technology. When inflation was high, everyone's favorite, of course, is precious metals. And something a lot of people are not aware is you can actually invest into physical precious metals using a self-directed IRA.
Right. I've heard that. So somebody has, say, a gold coin collection that can be part of a self-directed IRA.
Well, it needs to be technically. So when it comes to precious metals, there's certain fineness requirements we have to meet. So with us, Madison Trust, we actually have a collaboration with the Delaware Depository. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they actually do a lot of precious metals, especially on the East Coast. So all of our precious metals are held at the Delaware Depository, and individuals that can actually go and buy metals through their IRA from Delaware's sister company, Fidelitrade.
And what about precious stones, diamonds, for example?
So that is not something we currently hold. And honestly, the regulations on that is a little bit iffy as well. But again, going back to how people get creative, right? When it comes to everything, especially when it comes to alternative investments, we do have a lot of clients investing into companies that invest into diamonds or deal with diamonds or precious stones.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So so it sounds like where there's a will, there's a way. Sometimes there's some assets that can't find their way in at all, but it sounds like you know the landscape well enough where in many cases assets that might not be otherwise allowed in, you can find a way to get them in there.
Well, actually, the short answer is yes. If you are creative enough, there is always a way. And my job is to make sure we're compliant. Our clients are compliant when they come up with their creative ideas to diversify their retirement money using a self-directed IRA.
So what would be the advantage of putting a piece of real estate in a self-directed IRA?
Well, the main advantage, Mike, is the fact that you can't put a piece of real estate into your normal IRA, like say with one of those big players, right? Because they don't do actual property.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing real estate within a self-directed IRA, the IRA owns the property. So the owner of the deed is the IRA.
Right.
Now you have a piece of property that's going to appreciate in a retirement account, tax deferred or tax free, depending on the type of account you chose. If it's a traditional, tax deferred; if it's Roth, depending on certain requirements, tax free. By the time you're ready to retire, you can grab this property, take a distribution out of it, has a part of your retirement, and something you might have invested in $200,000 about 10, 20 years ago now might be 500% increase in appreciation in value.
Okay.
That's the advantage. You're able to take that appreciation in value tax deferred.
Okay. Well, so in other words, instead of taking the depreciation that is available on you're able to accelerate the value of what you have because the tax deferral in an IRA is going to exceed the velocity of the depreciation schedule. Is that more or less correct?
Yes, absolutely. And also to add on to that, now this property, a lot of people, they don't just buy a property through their IRA and just keep it sitting. They will rent it out.
Mm-hmm.
They will get passive income from it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this rental income is also tax deferred. You're not getting capital gains on this. You're not getting taxed on this income. Now, you're able to collect that income in an IRA and then utilize that income into another investment too.
Okay. All right. Well, that's that. I know a lot of people are going to be going, well, geez, I didn't know you could do that, and asking a lot of questions. We got to wrap up here, but before we go, this is obviously sponsored by the National Referral Network. How has your membership in the network helped you do your job better? And in particular, when it comes to outsourcing and having all these other professionals available for different things?
Well, our membership with the National Referral Network has been wonderful, especially because one, we are now a part of a community of professionals. And when we need something or my clients need something, we actually have a trusted source where we can refer, hey, a CPA, a financial professional, an attorney. And that has been invaluable, Mike, to have that resource under us to be able to assist our clients. Not only makes our job easier, but also it makes our clients' life easier. So it has been really valuable on our end.
Well, I appreciate hearing that. The information on the network is on the bottom of the screen here. So anybody who wants to check it out, this is how you check it out. And it just came up on the screen there. Look at that. Donna, I got it right.
You got it right.
I got it right. Thank you for giving us a few minutes. That was fascinating. Not a lot of people are aware that you can do these things with IRAs, so that's great. And we will be back here next Tuesday at the same time. So until then, see y'all later.